What's up, everybody? This is One Broke Millennial here, coming at you guys again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing the Midas DAO AMA. That was on January 3rd on a Monday. I totally missed that. I had it on my schedule and everything like that, but I couldn't attend it. But fortunately, one of them had uploaded it to a YouTube channel. That's awesome. All I'm doing is re-uploading it. I'm cutting out the empty space and stuff like that, so that way you guys can jump right into it. And also, I'm putting chapters down below, so that way you can jump to the section that you want to hear. But I would suggest you listen to the whole thing, because with the whole picture, you get a more informed decision on what you want to do in the future. The speakers are going to be GoldenBoy, Penn, and Cashflow. GoldenBoy, that I know of, is one of the lead devs of the project. Penn used to be a advisor to the project, but now he is one of the team members of the project now. And the new addition that I see is Cashflow, which is the new advisor for the whole project. So, getting right into it. Again, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. I'm just documenting my road to financial freedom. Let's go.
All right, yeah, let's get into this shit. So we got a couple of things we want to cover here. If you guys go back to the announcement, kind of the things we were going to talk about was, with the version 2, if we're going to be doing a relaunch, like different token name, the current treasury situation with our time investment. I'll probably let GoldenBoy handle that question. And then our commitment for the deadline. There's also a couple other things too. Man, Downson, shut up, man. Come on, man. There's also like some other things we kind of wanted to go into as well. We've been having a couple conversations with some other projects that have invested in Crown along the way. And then also the token swap that we're going to be trying to do too. So at least there was a lot of conversations going around about what we were going to do with Daniel moving a lot of stuff over to Sushi Swap. So I wasn't really sure. And we
did they actually do it?
He moved quite a bit of time over. So we had some internal discussions, and I know I brought it up in the general chat, but I just wanted to say to everybody here that was at least following that conversation, we're going to be sticking to Trader Joe at this point. And kind of the reason we want to is we don't really have any beef with Trader Joe ourselves. If Daniel moves more of his ecosystem of projects over to Sushi Swap, it'd be pretty bullish for us to be able to kind of fill that void of rebase tokens over on the Trader Joe. So we're going to be staying on Trader Joe. In terms of the token situation too, just the name, we are going to be sticking with just the Crown name. We thought about doing kind of a rebrand and going over to, let's say, a different token name. But right now it kind of makes the most sense to stick with Crown. And this has been a conversation we've been having with the internal team and then also the marketing agency too. Like I've said in the general chat a bunch of times, we paid 6 figures in marketing. We put a lot of that on pause. Once we determined that we were going to be going to a version 2, we paused a lot of the marketing. So we have some major YouTubers that have already been paid for that we're literally just sitting on and waiting for. We have some TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We put a pause on everything for that because we wanted to make sure, first of all, that we had a for sure token name that we were going to be going with, because if we needed to update any marketing material, then yeah, we need to do that ASAP. But we're gonna stick with the Crown name. We're pretty comfortable with Crown. I don't really see a need at this point, because there's nothing wrong with the brand. It's just we got fucked alongside all the other rebase DAOs. So that is one thing. We've also had a couple, and I know a couple of you guys have seen some of the other projects that have been adding Crown or have added Crown. One of them being Refi, which if you guys are following, multi-chain capital has just taken off along with it. So we're in more discussions with that team. They already have a little bit of Crown already. They invested in the early days. but we're in talks with them. Actually, myself and one of the other team members, Oryx. I don't know if he's in here in the Discord. I was going to ask him if he
I
wanted
don't think so, but
yeah, I don't see him. But yeah, we're actually in talks with refi to do more than just like them invest in Crown, like do like a straight up like legit partnership with them. That would be, kind of we're helping them, they're helping us type thing. So we're actually going to be having like a voice chat with them here pretty shortly. And I think that could be like absolutely great for us because there's a lot of components of Midas DAO that we hadn't really gotten a chance to get into because we kind of got caught up in that degen APY race. So at least with version 2, it's given us an opportunity to kind of go back to the drawing board, change kind of our narrative because the reason it took off in the first place was because we had that degen APY. So the narrative at that time was, okay, we have the best APY in the game. It was a really compelling narrative. It worked really well. We got to 140 million market cap, but it's just not sustainable. So at this point, our main goal and one of the things we're working with brand builders on in our marketing agency is how are we going to shift the narrative at this point. So we did this whole degen APY thing. It was fun for a bit, but it's just not sustainable and it's not congruent to long-term growth. Our goal with this has been from the beginning, we want to take this to a billion market cap. And that was even before I came on as a team member. That's when I was an advisor. I saw the potential in this. So we are working with the marketing agency that is handling our YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Telegram, various trending lists. And sorry if my voice sounds like shit, guys. I'm just getting over COVID. But yeah, so we're working with kind of some brand builders to kind of shift the narrative and really hopefully build around throne nodes because I think that'll be like a huge thing for our growth and sustainability. The other thing I wanted to touch on too, and this isn't something we've talked about really at all, is I've personally myself, because I've worked with the Floki team and I've worked with Multi-Chain Capital as well. I know Moontography, who did the token swap for Floki and MCC, which have, by all accounts have been just smashing successes. So I've reached out to him and we're getting a group together with the team to talk to him about possibly having him help us do the token swap. His timeline and our timeline pretty much match up perfectly. So I'm hoping that if we can get Moontography, because him and I are pretty cool with each other, that we can have him handle the token swap. And that would just be, that's also, first of all, that's just bullish in general, just because he's really fucking good at what he does. That's also like just some free marketing basically. And also, you can look at Floki, you can look at MCC, you can see the success this guy's had, and it's real. And those are all projects I've been associated with relaunching. And that's, when I'm looking at relaunching a token, it's like I'm trying to follow that path because I think, I've seen it work. I've seen it work in other areas. So when I see stuff like that, I want to mimic it as much as I can. Another thing too that I wanted to touch on, I'm really quite glad, honestly, that we've had the opportunity. And this isn't at this point, I'm not going to throw shade at any other projects, but it's been really fortunate for us to watch GG go through its relaunch, to watch Jade do its kind of revamp, to watch Ice DAO do its like relaunch. We've been fortunate in that we're taking our time with what we're doing. We have a really strong community. I'm not worried about us rushing anything out. So it has been nice to see these other projects relaunch and kind of struggle in general. So it's been a lot. Like I said, we've been doing a lot of work in the background. We've been watching all of them really closely to kind of see what works and what doesn't work. And I'm really confident that our version 2 launch. Oh, Jin, you were just in here, man. Join back in. I'm trying to hear you too. And some of these guys, by the way, I've known a lot of the team, but so for me too, hearing them talk is like a first. It's fucking hilarious to me. But yeah, so it's been nice to see these other projects kind of relaunch.
We got Fast Wall.
There we go.
Jin.
Yeah, we got Peaceful up in here, Jin too.
I asked Oryx to join us. I don't know if he will, but
Yeah,
he just woke up.
If Oryx can join us, that'd be awesome. And maybe if Oryx does join, I can probably go into the refi stuff a little bit more because he was really taking the lead on that one, on talking to them.
I saw this. I saw this group chat.
Yeah. So in terms of, and I'll probably let you, I'll probably let you handle this since it looks like Jin's kind of like having like some like mic issues, I guess. So in terms of like the deadline, I think that is one thing we wanted to touch on, and then the time investment. I know that's stuff that you generally handle.
What about time investment? We are close to be break even. We was at some point at profit, but yeah, it's up and down. So we are like 100K at loss right now. If this what you mean asking, I don't know. But yeah, idea behind this is like we talked about, to reinvest and buy back Crown as soon as we launch Vol 2.
Yeah, because I think that's something that most of the people probably aren't really like familiar with. And basically, when we had made the decision, guys, to pull like a chunk of our treasury to invest it into other things, once we kind of saw that all the rebase DAOs were sliding pretty hard, and it wasn't just us, it was a lot of these other rebase DAOs, it made way more sense for us to take our treasury and instead of basically just letting it sit there and be exit liquidity, we decided to put it into something to hopefully grow it. Unfortunately, like GoldenBoy was saying, the time one, unfortunately, just rebase DAOs have been kind of shitty right now recently too. I imagine time's going to be pumping here pretty soon because Danny's a freaking mastermind of this shit. So I'm really not worried about time in terms of a long-term investment. But I know a lot of the people have been wondering, with the version 2, at what point, do we want to give like any type of like hard date on something like that, or are we still pretty much lining up to the original like 3 weeks that we had given people?
To be honest, I'm not sure. This we could put this on a vote between community, or maybe that would be the best idea. Like vote and do maybe weekly or daily. I don't know. At that point, I felt like this was the safest move for us, for project, and yeah, this decision was made pretty quickly while most of the team was sleeping.
Yeah, so that sounds like a good plan to me, and this is something we've talked about internally, is kind of how to handle the actual version 2 launch. So in terms of Moontography's ability to do the swap for us is going to be in another week. So this is something I've been wanting to kind of bring up to everybody, that we kind of have options here. We had gone with the 3-week timeline. But to me, and this is where I think we'll put it up to a vote, because I think it makes most sense to do that. But to me, if we get Moontography to do our token swap, and he'll be willing to do it. It's just if it lines up with his timeline. To me, if we push the relaunch back by a couple days to have him handle the token swap, I would vote for that in a heartbeat, because I've seen what he does. It's free. It's extra free marketing for us, and it's just bullish. There's a lot of people that follow Moontography just because of the work he does. So this is something that we'll put up to a community vote, though, to see that, like, here's the options. We can either probably launch it sooner if we just stick to our methods, or we can push it back a little bit to have Moontography handle the swapping of it. So that'll be something we do at the end of essentially like this AMA here today, or it's like an AMA / voice thing. That is pretty much looking through my list of stuff here. If I had anything else I wanted to address, touched on the marketing stuff. I'm really, like I said, we've been working with some brand builders. I'm really pleased overall with the marketing team, the marketing agency that we've hired on. We do have January covered. We're working through February currently. So right now, hopefully you guys should see, especially in terms of like a marketing timeline, we're likely going to be doing, you're going to start to see like some pointed marketing a couple days before the launch, maybe even a day before the launch. Because while right now, the best time to get in is before we have the token tax, because there is going to be a token tax. That is in the initial relaunch of version 2, like we planned, there's going to be a token tax. So right now, the best time to buy would be now because you don't have to deal with that token tax. But in terms of the marketing, it makes the most sense for us to do most of the marketing when version 2 is launched, because we will be able to get those, we'll be able to get the token taxes on the way in and on the way out. But yeah, that's pretty much Peaceful. I don't know if you have anything you wanted to add, but that was pretty much everything I had.
Think.
Hey everyone, y'all probably don't really know me. I don't come in Discord very often. I guarantee you've seen some of my ideas because I type up a lot of stuff that comes around in here and all that. But I'm just here to answer some questions and, hopefully ease your minds going into version 2. Right now, we're just kind of free marketing it until we get the version 2 laid out specifically. We figured it'd be better to just leave trading so that, people could interact it and we could just let the price do its thing, knowing that once we have a firm version 2 date, we would probably see an uptrend leading into that migration. I mean, you see that pretty much on any project. Like Penn was saying, marketing, we don't want them to market our version 1 features when we're going to be replacing them at a firm end date with version 2. So until we are ready to launch that, we're not going to do the marketing for it because it just doesn't make sense. We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, But other than that, I'm ready for some questions.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and let me see some of the requests here. So I'll call your name since you guys have requested. Let's start with hey Dojin, awesome man. Dojin, you should be able to speak now. Hey.
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
No, you muted.
I think he muted his mic again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot, might be my mic. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
we can.
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear? I can hear you.
All right.
Can you hear
I think
us?
there's something wrong with my speaker, but you guys can hear me. Appreciate it. I love what I'm hearing. So good to hear you, Penn. I'm glad we got to connect on Twitter recently. I'm so bullish about this project, and it's so nice to just get involved with the community. And I want to start diving into Discord a little bit more. I've been away for the holidays, but everything that you're sharing about conversations with the marketing agencies and kind of relooking at the narrative, I think this is on point. I'm just so happy to hear it. I had no expectations coming into this call today, but I'm super bullish. I think this is the ticket. I'm all about a vote in the community for waiting, but I'll tell you, this was a surprise to hear that you've been in touch with Moontography, because if we can have Moontography do V2, if it takes another week, it takes another 2 weeks, whatever it is, like this is the ticket for everyone. We just went through this on MCC, and many of us have been through it on Floki. So that's fantastic news. I think everyone should be really excited at even just that potential opportunity, much less having Moontography usher us into V2. So that's it. I'll be involved. I can't hear you guys until I pop back off this thing. And keep up the good work and let me know how I can support in any way.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, the majority of best marketing is narrative driven. People buy narratives. The kind of like the era of buying just for the tech that's not really what drives projects. That's why I'm so confident in our relaunch, because I know the products that we have coming, the throne nodes, the fact that we're implementing MCC components into the project. I know like our product is going to be top notch and solid. the next portion of it is going to be lining up the narrative with it, because that's what people buy. People buy narratives. If you have the most compelling narrative, you're going to win like 9 times out of 10. So that's like why that's been a really big focus for us to kind of rebuild our brand and retarget it so that we have a new narrative that makes sense for people to get into, because we've seen that the DJ and APY stuff, it was fun. I mean, let's be honest, that shit flew. It was fun. We had 40 million in daily volume. Fucking awesome, man. But yeah, that it just wasn't sustainable, you know? So it makes sense for us to, especially with version 2, kind of a new lease on life, change up the narrative some. All right, let me grab somebody else.
Just imagine what the transaction tax would be helping the protocol with 40 million of daily volume. I mean,
It would have been massive.
That goes into your Midas touch, your gift to Midas. We don't have to do buybacks because it's adding to LP. That just frees up the treasury instead of using 80% of the treasury for investment and 20% to keep the protocol going. That means all of your treasury gets to go to your investments and your MCC components, whereas the tax takes care of the health of the protocol itself. And also limits swing traders.
Hello, everyone. Did we mention that the tax will be higher at the relaunch date and will be gradually decreased every day?
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful point. I did not mention that we're going to do like a scaling tax. If you want to, if you want to talk about that real quick, go ahead.
Idea is to set up tax for 30% and decrease it every day until we hit a level that we want to keep sustainable, like 6% for sell and a bit lower for buy transactions.
I mean,
yeah,
we discussed like 2 different taxes, like one tax for buying and selling, which obviously buying will have more privilege, while selling probably less. But we also discussed the tax and staking, like how do I say it?
Your interest to the pool.
Yeah, essentially, kind of, and the reason we talked about doing a scaling tax is because we ideally, when somebody's getting into a protocol like Crown, we want your first thing to do is to buy and then either put it into a throne node or stake it, or maybe you go through bonding. What we saw in version 1 is we had whales essentially manipulating the chart by just swinging it freely. And that happens on pretty much any time.
Oryx just joined.
Hey, awesome. Oryx just joined. Awesome. That might be something. So since Oryx is here, Oryx and I will kind of be, in terms of if there's like any type of media type interview type stuff, that'll be generally Oryx and me that kind of handle that type of stuff. So one of the things we were talking about last night, and sorry to kind of switch gears, I'll circle back to the taxes here in a second, because I know that's probably a big question for a lot of people. But one of the things we've talked about with refi, because they're just fucking red hot right now, is doing a podcast episode with them. So we have a time set in stone. Myself and Oryx will be doing that podcast. I mean, I obviously don't have any problem talking. I can talk about this shit for days. I'm going to be doing my own podcast here with Ice Knife. And then Oryx is kind of like there's, you guys see a lot of these people like myself, Jin, and GoldenBoy, but there's, it's a large team, guys. Oryx is one of those people in the background that doesn't really, ironically, he's comfortable talking on mic, but he doesn't really talk too much in the communities. But he's one of those background team members that you guys don't really see too much. But yeah, me and Oryx are going to be doing the like a podcast episode essentially with refi. Oryx, I don't know if you want to say anything else, man, because you kind of handled most of the conversation last night.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately.
So yeah, I wanted to go over the tax. The plan was to do like 30% on launch for unstaking, and basically just do 5% decrease every day. So on day 7, it'll be zero tax for unstaking coins. So 30%, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and 0.
Yeah, literally every day.
In that way, yeah, we kind of appreciate long-term holders while screwing swingers or rebase.
Exactly. So that's why we've looked, and scaling tax to us is really attractive, because for the majority of you guys that are already here that have been sticking with us this long already, like it won't affect you really, because you're going to be staking anyways. But essentially, we're putting this in place to stop the like really bad swing trading that we had. There was a couple wallets, especially when we were on our downslide. There was a couple wallets that we were monitoring from whales that had like $400,000, $500,000 worth of capital and were just swinging the fuck out of us. And there's nothing you can really do. You know, it's DeFi. You can't just blacklist a wallet like that. So the next best step is to reward people that buy in and stake it, and then essentially kind of just punish the people that are just going to be swinging. But again, it's really important to note that this is going to be a scaling tax that will lower every day, like Oryx was saying. So you'd be, I mean, a 5% decrease every single day is a pretty large chunk, because, you know, majority of the time when you have like a relaunch, you get a flurry of activity initially, and then it kind of settles, and then that's when you really see what the project is made of.
This also
basically the thing.
Okay.
Sorry, the thing is, most people that will be on V2 that coming from V1, their plan is not to sell, right? They just wanna be in the project, and they just want to accumulate. So, you know, that's I don't think there's going to be an issue for them. The issue is going to be for people that want to swing. You know, so we thought that was the best way for the holders, and to just prevent whales from grabbing a large portion and you know, getting the APY if we ever decide to raise it crazy like before, and then just getting out. So we thought that was the best way.
And this also give us opportunity to like disable warm-ups, right? Because we have fees and we don't need there is no need for warm-ups because we have taxes. I mean, we will have in a few days, I guess. We will see.
Awesome. So let me, because we haven't had a question in a minute, let me go ahead and put somebody else up here. Suwoo, if you're here, man, I'm gonna invite you to speak. Let me see. Let's see. Monsoon, I'll invite you to speak too if you want to ask a question.
Hello.
Yo.
The original question that I was going to bring up was regarding the taxes, and it was already answered, so I don't have a question anymore. But thank you.
Bet.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
Monsoon, you got a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I'm really happy with what you guys are doing, and I'm really bullish on the whole project in general. My question was that since we have a tax limiting the whales from swing trading, does that mean that the APY can be like ridiculously high again, or are we gonna like keep it at a sustainable level? What's the plan for the APY?
So, I mean, I can answer that, guys, if you want, but essentially, like we've said with version 1 here, like when we did that initial announcement that we were moving over to version 2, the plan was to essentially just monitor it. We're going to monitor it and kind of adjust it accordingly. In terms of like Revenge of the Crown, because that was like a big thing that got, that was what the catalyst that essentially launched us was Revenge of the Crown, because we started doing some absolutely batshit APY. We love the idea of Revenge of the Crown, but maybe not to the extent that we were doing. But if we do kind of go back to those kind of higher APY days, it's going to be something that we monitor really closely, and it's not going to be something that is set in stone. So I don't want to, essentially put us in like a commitment that we're going to do X amount for X amount in a week. If we do it, we'll announce it probably beforehand. But that is going to be something that we monitor because we don't want to slip back into the same issues that we were having on version 1. But yeah, in theory, because like GoldenBoy was saying, with the tax, it raises kind of the need for like a warm up. And it would be a heavy enough tax to stop like really difficult swing trading. But it's going to be something that we kind of need to monitor. If it makes sense for us to gradually boost APY, that's generally what I'm most in favor of. Instead of doing like these wild swings from 1 million APY to like 50 quadrillion or something, I'd prefer to just kind of steadily raise it over each rebase. But that's just me personally. If we come to the point where the community wants like higher APY and it makes sense for the life of our project, then yeah, I'd be fine with that. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you. That's really helpful. I think increasing it like each rebase until like there's no whales talking about the project. I think that's a good idea. Thank you for your work, everybody.
It's all about balance at the end.
Yeah, so it really, that's really what it comes down to, is finding a healthy balance that makes sense. So let me grab somebody else here. Let's see.
Where do you see questions? I only see
hands raised, basically. Like I can't see the actual questions. I'm just letting them in here. So trading bananas. That's a good name. I'm gonna allow you in. Let's see who else. Serious Paul. I'm gonna allow you to speak if you want. Yo, you got a question, Serious?
Okay, I'll go first. Well, at first, I'm really grateful for what you guys are doing. My question is, can you drop some breadcrumbs about the product? You talked about rebasing, you talked about notes maybe somewhere there, an MCC like product. Can you talk a little bit about whatever amount you can talk about now?
Yeah, so I believe well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna just let one of the devs answer this because I don't know if I'm really allowed to speak on some of that stuff. I'd probably give away.
What exactly about MCC components, or what exactly?
Like the Throne nodes specifically, probably.
Throne nodes. Okay. What about Throne nodes?
I wanted to have a picture of what the suite of products we are going to get.
Well, let me handle the MCC component part. We already kind of started that with time farming, right? So that's basically it. It's not anything special. What we would do is invest some of our liquidity into other projects that we think will do well, and then bring back the profits into our project and add to liquidity and stuff.
Yes, exactly. It's generating revenues for the protocol from farming different other projects.
What about the nodes?
The nodes, we will have to revisit that, because as we've seen lately, nodes aren't really that sustainable, right? And actually, the main node just rug, right? Ring.
Unfortunately, yeah, Ring just rugged. That was not.
Yeah, so they're not really sustainable. But the idea of a node is you just lock your coins and you get a higher APY. That was the way we were gonna do it, right? You just lock them for a certain amount of time and then you get a higher APY than normal staking. But with the relaunch of V2 and us doing the tax, the 30% first day tax and stuff like that, I don't think there is a need for node components anymore.
No, thank you for,
in my opinion,
just hearing different things. I wanted to make sure that where the ideas are. Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Yep, you're welcome.
And the closer,
I guess idea is still there, but maybe require some
tweaking.
Yeah, it's always there.
Yeah.
It's not hard to implement or anything like that. It's just I don't think it's really a sustainable model, especially if we want this to last a while, right? We want this to be sustainable. We want this to be profitable for everybody else. Well, us and everybody else, right? So and I don't think nodes is the right way to go about it.
GoldenBoy is going to hate me for saying this, but there is something I've been bugging him about and adding to his list, and that was what I was calling the celebration of the crown, and trying to figure out a way to do some type of lottery system where when we hit certain milestones, like 100 million market cap, 15,000 holders, 200 million, or just on like holidays, everybody could wager some of their staked crown, and we would either get when we hit that milestone, it gets divvied up like a lottery amongst people to the winners, or we do something where the staked crown for that time period gains the rebases, and then the rebases are split up as awards, and everyone gets their staked crown back. Obviously, that's on the back burner because of all the other stuff. But I mean, like I said, I haven't been in Discord a lot. You see me on Twitter or on Telegram, but in our team chat, GoldenBoy wants to kill me because I keep coming up with stuff like this that we want to do. But that was something like an added feature I thought would be fun, kind of like a cake lottery type thing, but for the crown that we could enjoy and tie it into the narrative, like Penn was saying, milestones or big events for the protocol. It'd just be a fun way to do it, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, as you guys are seeing here in this this AMA here, there are a lot of the things are still kind of a bit fluid. The guarantees at this point are that version 2, we're going to be launching with the version 2 token. There's going to be some form of a token tax on it. But in terms of the sustainable features of it, we're still kind of trying to figure out what's that other thing that like takes us to the next level. While we've seen that the ring, unfortunately, ring nodes rugged and it was pretty massive. I'm still a decent fan of nodes. I do like the idea of nodes, but maybe that's something that we put up to a community vote. Because we have people kind of on our team that are kind of on both sides of the picture of that. So maybe that's something we just kind of put up to a vote as well, since we're going to be doing the vote to, possibly postpone launching a little bit to work with Moontography. So maybe that's something we do if we want to kind of go if you guys are still a fan of going the nodes route, or if you guys maybe want to explore some type of like different alternatives. I will say in terms of the team, it's pretty split in like who's for the nodes and like who's not for the nodes, basically. All right, so let me...
Wait, Penn, because Solid is willing to address something about taxes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Solid, what's up?
Yeah.
Hey, guys, it's Solid here. Thanks, everyone, for making this happen. It's really great, especially after the holidays that we had, to get together and speak to the community. I do advise Midas DAO and work closely with the team on the background, but most likely you don't see me a lot in the Discord. But I did want to mention a couple of things about the taxes or the proposed taxes that we will be implementing with the V2 relaunch of Midas DAO and the Crown token. So basically we'll have two different tax mechanisms. The first one would be on the buys and sells. These are semi-permanent, but however configurable. We can always change the tax rates on the buys and sells, which is what Penn just mentioned earlier, that this would be the best time to actually buy and hold Crown before we relaunch with the taxes. So think about it as like, the other projects where you buy and you have to increase your slippage to like 10%, 12%, 8%, 5%, regardless. That's what Ben mentioned is with V2, there's going to be taxes on the buys and sells. The second portion of the taxes, the proposed taxes, would be on the unstaking. So think of this one, instead of having the unstake and warm up, Now we're introducing a tax model on unstaking. So if somebody goes in, buys Crown, and they stake it into the Midas DAO, and if they decide to unstake within a 24-hour period, the tax would be 30%. If it's more than 24 hours, like from 24 to 48 hours, that is reduced by 5%. And that remains the same on daily basis. So you start with a 30% tax on day one, and then every day it's reduced by 5% until day 7, where it hits to be completely free to unstake.
And I did want to add another thing too. Some of your, and like, keep posting and keep tagging me on stuff in the suggestions channel. There's been some straight up fucking gems of knowledge that have been dropped in the suggestions channel. I don't always reply, but I'm pretty much reading every single one you guys post in there and tag me on. So if you guys are doing more suggestions and stuff, keep dropping it in there. And it's not just me, like other members from the team will grab like quotes from there and post it in our team chat. So please, by all means, keep giving us suggestions on stuff, because look, we're not all geniuses here. You know, if you guys have an idea that's really good, we're going to fucking, if we think it makes sense, we're going to do that too. Okay, cool. So
yeah, I would totally second that. There's been absolutely smart and genius ideas that were dropped into the suggestion channel, and we would internally discuss it as well. So kudos to you guys, to the community. This is absolutely a community project.
Community is so fucking amazing what we have built here. So yeah, I'm amazed about our future.
All right, let me ask. Brohan, a moderator, wants to ask a question. Let's see. I invited you to speak up here, sir.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
So my main question was, I was just looking at the roadmap back when I'd first invested in the project, and I think the thing that got me most excited were the PVE and Metaverse assets. I know that's not a priority right now, given that V2 is going to be the most important thing that the team's focusing on, but is that still something that's going to be coming up in the near future?
Of course.
Yeah, that is something, essentially kind of back to what you said. Unfortunately, that is something we kind of put on the back burner. But yeah, that is something that we're still planning on doing, and that's going to work really hand in hand with the kind of MCC components. And for the people that don't, because I get asked this question a lot, and I think I even explained it in last, like that little impromptu AMA I did. Essentially, MCC components, multi-chain capital, is a project that has basically like a set treasury that they invest in other farming protocols and farm it, and you get the reflections from that. So you see things like refi doing it, cat doing it, MCC, ABC. I think ABC is one that Peaceful got into, but essentially it's like this thing called like DeFi 3.0, where they're basically investing in other projects, and as a result of it, you get the reflections from that. It's a pretty good way of, there's pretty much most stuff is a fork of something, and reflections have been around for the better part of like I think over a year at this point. So yeah, the MCC components, and the P2E Metaverse stuff, once we kind of start really rolling that out, that's going to be stuff that goes in hand. But right now, like kind of I said, it's the main priority is version 2, getting the token swap over, and then trying to figure out what we want to do in terms of like a product suite. Do we want to have throne nodes up, or kind of what do we want to do in that regard? So I think that is probably something we'll put up to the community vote to see what they want to do. But yeah, I appreciate the question, man, and appreciate the work you've been doing too in the chat, man.
Yeah, of course. Just to follow up on that, yeah, I think a lot of DAOs right now, they're all talk with great big plans that sound amazing, and they're not following through with it. So with this stuff that we're going to do with MCC, I think that'll be a huge rise, because there's actually going to be shit going on, not just an idea that people are investing in to get rebases.
Oh, so, yeah.
Touching back on MCC, also we have a huge advantage with Penn and MCC, because Penn knows those guys really well. And also, we were talking last night with refi, right? And look, most of us here did not just join crypto and do Midas, right? We've been in crypto space for a while, and a few of us are pretty seasoned farmers, so we kind of know how to make money, right? And we have an idea. We have an idea where to farm and where to get the biggest APY and the biggest returns, right? And so we will have a certain allocation for high risk farms, which could potentially give us huge returns, and also we'll farm protocols like Time, which is pretty steady. Mm-hmm. But also having this insight with refi and MCC and stuff that can also help us a lot.
Yeah, and that is like we said, we'd opened up discussions too early on with MCC. I'm really cool with Petabyte, who Petabyte. I don't know how to say his name, man. I'm really cool with him. I've gotten to know him through Floki, MCC, Cell. So that is, we've actually talked already with the MCC team. And then another kind of DeFi 3.0 project I've talked to is Capital Aggregator Token as well, who I know the CEO, who I know one of the advisors, El Chapo, who's also the CEO of Assure DeFi. So we do have a lot of these connections that we're making with these MCC components. And you guys can kind of see it already in what we're doing with Time. I mean, essentially, Time is a indication of what we're going to be doing on a larger scale, not just in like an emergency situation where we felt like it was the best way to protect our treasury. Investments in other projects, kind of like what Oryx was saying, we're hoping to have further on down the road. I don't want to give a timeline, but we're hoping to have eventually a suite of things that we're farming, not just one thing, not just two things, like more than 5, and then have it based on different risk amounts. Now, because I had a lot of people that were asking me about the Jade protocol stuff. Essentially kind of the method that they're doing is they're going to be investing in upstart projects, essentially like a VC fund. And while it was a really bullish medium, and those guys are genius marketers, Lord knows they're phenomenal when it comes to talking. But I especially in talking with the team, I just don't see that as a sustainable option. Right now, we're seeing that MCC is the most sustainable option currently, and it's doing really well. I mean, you guys see the chart; it's all-time high after all-time high after all-time high with very minimal dips right now. And it's because they have a reflections-based protocol that isn't super reliant on intense daily volume on the specific project. So while Jade protocol, I mean, it's a cool idea in theory, investing in upstart projects. I think there's a lot of I'm not a fan of Jade protocol. I got rugged on their first version of the token. But I think whenever you look at investing in upstart projects, unless you're a completely publicly doxed team every single time, I think there's a high likelihood that Jade would just make a bunch of projects for themselves and just invest it in themselves, essentially washing the money into the owner's pockets. So I don't see that as investing in upstart projects as a sustainable thing. Let's invest in stuff that is already proven. Let's invest in stuff that's already doing well, and diversify our treasury that way instead of taking big swings and possible misses on, some random new token that's launching. So there's I hope that kind of answers your question on like the MCC stuff. The time investment is just essentially like an extension of like that right now. But I'm really excited that we'll be able to have some more stuff on that. Hopefully have some type of UI too, so people can see it, and eventually build up a suite of here's our investments based on different risk amounts. That'll be fucking awesome. So I appreciate it, Brohan. Let me get somebody else.
Yep. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it. Nebson, Nebson, if you got a question, and let me get somebody who's Crypto Wizard. Let me invite him in. For a lot of you guys that don't know, Crypto Wizard has actually reached out to the team. He posted a really awesome proposal, and he's actually somebody we're going to be talking to and more of like a business proposal type thing here. Not to at some point today here. But hey, man, how's it going?
Hey guys, just wanted to say thank you so much to the team and for kicking ass and not rugging on us when a few other did, and excited to see where this all goes. I'm really excited to talk about the nodes later with you guys, with the team, and really looking at that project and really seeing if it's worth diving into or not. But my question more was, what really brought you guys together, and what, if in the ideal world, when we're not trying to like rush into V2, like what are you guys most excited about? Because I know everyone kind of has different passions and purposes with this project. So just would love to hear more of that.
Yeah, I mean, so I've known GoldenBoy pretty much for a little over a year. When I first moved over into Binance Smart Chain, that was really where I got my big start, essentially. That's where I started over at Binance Smart Chain with about $200,000 from stuff I'd made on ETH. And I mean, I ballooned it over into the millions at this point. But I originally started over on Binance Smart Chain with Downson, who's in the, I think he's in the Discord right now. Myself and Downson were really kind of a couple of the first two like Telegram and Twitter guys that started over on Binance Smart Chain. But those early days, let me tell you guys, man, those early days in Binance Smart Chain was fucking rug city. Everything, man. Everything was fucking rugging. But it was an emerging ecosystem. It was an emerging blockchain. I mean, me and Downson got in below $100 on BNB. So we were just, him and I were constantly talking, like pretty much every day, sharing projects with each other, getting into different things. And then essentially, once you kind of find the decent projects that aren't straight up rugs and like have some type of use case to it, you essentially kind of latch onto those. So GoldenBoy had done a previous project early on in Binance Smart Chain. And, we have a team of people that are working on this, but GoldenBoy is genuinely one of the most talented devs I've ever worked with, period. He can do UI, he can do UX, he's a full stack Solidity dev. And he's also not retarded or autistic when it comes to talking. Most devs you talk to, I've worked with tons of legit talented devs that are incredibly autistic, that just have no social graces whatsoever. That's not GoldenBoy. So kind of finding somebody like that, even though we hadn't done a project together in literally like 8-9 months, it's just somebody you kind of always keep talking to. So that's essentially like how I got linked up with GoldenBoy. And then you're seeing some of the other team members in here that were value adds to the project, like Solid, Peaceful, even Downson are other people that we had added to the team that can help in terms of a extended network beyond just me. And a lot of those guys have proved super valuable in helping us get kind of where we are today, and then opening doors that we're going to be able to walk through on version 2. So yeah, that's kind of, I essentially knew that GoldenBoy was doing a new project. And then essentially myself and really Peaceful kind of helped assemble the rest of the team at that point. Yeah. So I don't know if that, I mean, if any of the other guys want to talk about it, but that's kind of my explanation of how we kind of got here.
I think you explained everything very well.
Yeah, and for the people that kind of, there's some people that have been constantly pinging me about Crypto Wizard. He had posted, I mean, you get like people that post shit all the time that like come into projects and they're like, I have marketing proposal. Who do I talk to? Or I could sell your project on my city call channel or something like that. It's fucking botted fake influencer shit. But yeah, Crypto Wizard posted a really fucking awesome proposal essentially, and it's not bullshit. I've read through it. I'm fucking excited. So that's somebody we're going to talk to. And hopefully if that's, if it makes sense for Midas DAO, that could be something we talk about here in the coming days too. But I appreciate you taking the time, man, and the support too. You've definitely been unwavering in that because you've been here through the highs and the lows, man.
Absolutely, brother. No, it's not. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's important because a lot of people get into projects just to get rich quick and just jump into something and just care about money and not care about the community. And you guys really held the community tight, and that's important. And so that's when I see a strong community, that's something I want to get behind. I want to partner with, and everyone here has been amazing. We have like 550 people in the audience. So thank you again. Look forward to talking to you guys in a little bit.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. And yeah, we really do. This community is something else, man. I mean, that you guys have really stuck through it here. And I this is the first project I've done where I've been on a team member part of it in over a year. I really don't to me, it made sense to go from advisor to a team member. And I'm sure, some of the ways that I talk sometimes probably irritate people. But I mean, I've always said, look, I'm gonna work my ass off for whatever project I'm a part of. If that means me beefing with other projects that I consider inferior on Twitter for, if they start shit, I'm gonna defend it because I'm still me. If you're gonna come after me, I'm gonna go right back at you. I think that's fucking stupid. So I'm obviously gonna fight. You guys can always count that you guys can always rely on me to give 100% effort on shit. I'm not gonna back down from random shit, especially if some other, G projects are calling us out. I think that's fucking stupid. You're not gonna filter me or shame me into not saying something. If I think our product is good and I think our team is good, I'm gonna go to bat for us every single time, even if it, ruffles some people or upsets people. You guys can always count on me to have our communities back and always be trying to do the best for our community. So yeah, I just wanted to say I feed off your guys' energy too. I know you guys. I've read a lot of your guys' DMs when times have been difficult, and you guys have always been super supportive. So getting shit like that just makes me want to fight for the project even more. And more so, man, I want this to be the biggest success again, to get over 140 million, just to rub it in the haters' faces, man. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine if we get to fucking 300 million, 400 million? I'm planning on it. I really do think that we have the better team. I think we're going to have the better product. I think we're going to have the best relaunch. I've seen these other projects relaunch, and it's pitiful. I'm just like, that's it? That's what you did? You just did a quick get out of. I'm not going to shade any other projects. I'm sorry. Nebson, what you got, man?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, first off, I just want to say thanks to the devs for creating this place. I'm honored to be a moderator here. But what I'm going to focus my question on is the exchanges. I know one of the devs mentioned that you guys are planning to be listed on KuCoin or Gate.io. What would be the logistics behind that? Because I know you need to hand over a certain amount of crown or something like that. I'm not sure how that works.
So that is a good point. And that is something that has been on our roadmap that we haven't. It's been kind of like a back burner type thing. But essentially, we do have, and this was something that people had used as FUD. We do have quite a large amount of team tokens because essentially we've had a huge chunk of team tokens that have been staking. And we have enough to where if we have an exchange that we can list on in the coming future, we'd have plenty to be able to shift over to them. And then because KuCoin is around 200K ish, so we'd have enough to give them in crown, and then we'd also have enough to pay them from the treasury too. Hopefully, when we get the marketing tax and we have a good amount of daily volume, we don't even have to touch the treasury. That is one of the ideal parts about a marketing tax on a time fork, is we believe that we can essentially use the marketing funds from the taxes that have been generated to fund that exchange. Now, it is a little different though with exchanges because they do usually require us to whitelist their stuff so that there's no tax. So that would be something we later on down the road we're gonna have to go over. But yeah, I'm still a big fan and big proponent of listing on something like Gate.io, especially. I have a contact over there who I've reached out to for other projects before. KuCoin, not as much. I don't really know anybody over at KuCoin, but Gate.io would be somebody that once we're in a position to, I could get us onto Gate.io. I saw it with Floki, seen it on a couple other projects too. I know a couple guys over there. But yeah, we just kind of have to figure out the logistics of the tax. But in terms of tokens that we have, yeah, we got plenty to be able to move over to that.
All right, thanks, man. That pretty much answers my question. Super bullish on this project, and hope everything goes well. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate the work you've been doing too. Let me, East of Greenland, who's a booster. I invited you to speak. Oh shit, I actually just declined you. Go ahead and do that again. My bad. I clicked the X button by mistake. That's fucking hilarious. Oh man. The clap, I'll get you lined up too. I appreciate man, I love that the moderators want to come in and ask questions too. Guys, the moderators here aren't paid. They're simply just here because they're fucking bullish on the project. And they believe in the vision that we're doing. So hats off to the moderator team, man. You guys have like held it down through the FUD and the shit. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead. You got a question, East?
Did you get a bit nervous when you saw my name come up? Is that why you accidentally declined me?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That's fucking funny though.
So I've just got like a pretty like superficial question really, but I just think just a total like girl's point of view. Like in comparison to like Invictus, Magnet, even Jade protocol, their user interface is like pretty slick. So I was wondering, I know it's like the last thing to even like mention or focus on, but I was wondering if there's like a simple, like a little bit of a plan in the future to maybe update it a bit because it like really attracts people. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate the question. Appreciate you for coming on and asking. So that is something we've been talking about too, and I believe that was actually something I believe Downson had like recommended to GoldenBoy too. So we are aware that we need to kind of like update the like the UI to make it a little bit more unique, make it a little bit more slick too. So yeah, that is something I believe that we're in the process of doing too. And like I said, GoldenBoy, he is a UI UX dev too. So doing that type of stuff, it really shouldn't be too hard. But honestly, I don't know if you can explain that, GoldenBoy. I'm kind of speaking for you, man. But I don't know if you want to add anything to that, because in a sense, it would be on like it'd be on your plate to change the UI shit.
Well, like a few days ago, we discussed that our UI require few tweaks, changes, improvements. I actually had a proposal from one of the community members about working with us, maybe not working, helping, working, yeah, whatever. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, we have to improve our mobile version. We have to improve lots of features. I'm daily researching competition and always looking around for something that will fit our project and make it even better than competition. So, yeah, the worst part is that everything takes a lot of time. We are trying to do it as soon as possible, but not always. The cool features are able to be done in minutes, hours. It takes days or weeks. Depends on what we are trying to achieve. But yeah, this is definitely what we are trying and gonna do in a near future.
Awesome.
If this answer question, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, that was just my question. And thank you, all of you, Penn and GoldenBoy and all the others,
Thank you very much
for just being in the chat and answering everyone's questions, and especially my dumb questions. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Yeah, there's no dumb questions here, guys. And I see you guys all fucking cheesing me in the channel. Bro, I've talked to East of Greenland before. She's a friend, so y'all just need to cut it out. Let me see who else here. I thought I already clapped. I invited you up here, my guy. He's another one of the moderators. Let me see who else. Storm and Norman, I'm inviting you to speak. And then Slow Turtle, I love that username, bro. I feel like I've talked to you a couple times too. So I invited a couple other people up here to speak. Probably only going to take like another couple questions, guys. And then I'm probably going to go like eat or something.
Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't see the invite. The shit was full screen.
Oh, you're good, bro.
I can ask my question.
Yes, sir. Yeah, go for it.
So this is about the future migration. I understand that it's still early and in development, but I personally was a bit confused by the one-to-one migration aspect, and I'm working under the assumption that the launch price of the V2 may not be the same as the price of Crown at the time of the launch of the V2. In this event, there would be an arbitrage opportunity if Crown can be swapped to Crown V2 at a one-to-one ratio, but their prices are different. This can be exploited both by malicious actors, but also can be a profit.
Wait. Let me touch on that.
For the treasury.
There won't be, because before we launch V2, then we'll pull liquidity out of V1. So you can't trade V1.
We are going to take a snapshot and halt trading, right?
Yes.
We can halt trading, but we can pull liquidity.
We can pull liquidity, yeah.
Yeah, which is same, I guess.
And I did want to touch on one of the other things too, real quick. So we had initially said a one-to-one swap, but this is actually even something we've talked about too internally, possibly doing more like a 5-to-1 or a 10-to-1 swap, just because since we're into building a new narrative right now, when you're looking at kind of just the psychology of this stuff, it looks better on paper if you're buying a token right now. Let's say we do a 5-to-1 swap, right? That puts us over 100. It would at least, I don't think we want to do a 100-to-1 like GG did, because GG's fucking in the dirt right now. But I think doing something like a 5-to-1 type swap, maybe a 10-to-1 type swap, might actually suit itself better for kind of the direction we want to go into in the future. I know you'd mentioned kind of the one-to-one swap, so I just want to address that real quick. But if you want to keep asking your question, go for it, bro.
Yeah, so that's actually a great answer, and I think it's a good solution. A follow-up to my question would be for the time delay in between the pulling of the liquidity and the launch of the new platform. How long would you anticipate that delay to be? And this is obviously going to generate a lot of FUD because there's going to be people screaming, "Oh my god, I can't sell!"
No, I can answer that. It's going to be, if anything, it's going to be hours. It's not going to be like days or anything like that. Once V2 is done, all we have to do is add liquidity. So that's it. I don't want to say minutes, which it will probably take, but hours, like 1 or 2 hours max.
And this is something that, especially if we end up working with Moontography too and having him do the swap, this is something that we'd announce beforehand how long it's going to be. But at least in the time being, while we're kind of, like I'd said in the announcement, our goal with V1 still is to maintain it. Right now, I think our APY is still over $1 million. I haven't looked at it today. But I'm really comfortable where our APY is. It's still in a really good place. And right now, anybody, in my opinion, that's buying in right now is getting in a really good position right now. So I just got another question too from somebody whose mic isn't working. And this is probably a question better suited for the devs to answer. But it's kind of our plan for let me grab his question. It was from the user Magica, but it had to do with. Let me see here. I can't use my mic right now. Could someone ask if there's a plan to control the inflation from token minting?
Okay.
I mean, I can honestly probably answer that. We essentially put a pause, guys, on the Midas Touch feature, which was the major feature for us doing burns. But at the same time, that also was a big feature of buybacks, which, you know, you're constantly seeing that question and here, when are we doing buybacks? When are we doing buybacks? We put a pause on the Midas Touch because we were still trying to figure out, okay, like what's the next step here? So imagine once we get to version 2, we'll have some form of Midas Touch again. I don't know if it's going to be quite the same that we were doing, like aggressive buyback type stuff, and then either add to liquidity or burn. But that is how we would combat it, would be some form of a Midas Touch for version 2. And you can maybe even see something like that in a portion of the taxes too. So it depends. But that is something when we're closer to it, that's probably, you know, something we'll announce more.
Can I ask the question?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay, the question is regarding the tax on, let's suppose I want to unstack my crown and I did that after 7 days. So the tax I'm going to be paying is 0%.
Yes.
Let's suppose I didn't unstack all of the crowns I have. Do I need to pay the tax on the remaining ones as well? Or how it will work? Like every time someone unstack, then the percentage is going to be from 30 to 0?
Yes, from 30 to 0. Every time you add or remove part of it, it will like restart to the base and go from 30 to 0.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Downson, hop in the call. Hop in the voice call, Downson. I know he's got a point. Oh, he's on a. Sorry, Downson's on a train. Fuck, man. He had something I was going to address with him too about the project. We can do it for our next AMA though. It's not like it was like an extra marketing thing. But sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah, that's everything. And other thing I would like to mention, if you need any help on the design or UI UX thing, I am the one who do UI UX for really big brands, Amazon and all of them. Maybe I can send a proposal to you, Ben. Maybe I can design a page of what it looks like now, and then if you would like the changes, we can maybe make on the website.
I was thinking in V2 because currently our GitHub is like kinda dead. I was thinking about publishing everything, our front end for app, maybe even our website. So anyone that will willing to contribute will be able to do pull requests and help us contribute and improve our brand site, app, anything. But yeah, that's like delayed till V2. That was the main thing that I discussed with other developer, which was working, I guess, for Google and Amazon. I don't know if that was you. I would need to check, but yeah, the main idea is to keep everything on GitHub open sourced, so anyone, first of all, can verify we are legit, and second of all, can contribute and help us improve our stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, the fucking general chat, y'all are fucking stupid, bro. Fucking, oh man. Let me bring up. They're just fucking trolling me, man. Man, fucking Downson. I swear to God, man. I need to get that guy in the. I need to get that guy in the voice chat at some point. Somebody, let me see. He just asked to be let in here. Hey, Ice, my boy.
Okay. I had also one more idea which we should implement, I guess. and your future is like
There we go.
to use maybe
OG.
snapshots. What?
OG had a question about.
Okay.
Go ahead, man.
Hey, how you guys doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
It's good. It's good. I just had a few questions. I had hopped in here late, so I didn't really hear everything that was going on. But I've kind of hopped in here on you guys' downtrend. But you guys are very responsive. Like I really love the the atmosphere here. But my question was, or what I would propose is, hold on, let me bring it up because I kind of just threw it up here. So I know you guys said that you were talking about, like in terms of getting things implemented for stability for the project. So I wanted to know, like, I think I caught like the back end of a conversation that the tax was going to be around for the first day or and decreasing after launch. Is how was that going about?
About staking.
Yes, for staking.
Yeah, for staking. It will be 7-day ladder tax, starting from day 1, 30%, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and 0. So after 7 days, you will have like 0 tax, first day 30%, second day 25, and so on.
I did want to, and another one of the questions I'd kind of triggered in my mind. So I think it was you, Slow Turtle, that had, or maybe it was from the general chat. But we're gonna have with the marketing agency, we're going to have some really pointed, like infograph type things for people to be able to look at, like just some videos to be able to make it clear kind of what we're doing, what we're going to be doing. That's going to be really newbie friendly for people that are just getting into rebase DAOs. So I did want to say that is something that is actually being worked on right now by the marketing agency, so that we'll be able to kind of attract like a different user base beyond just the rebase hopping type guys. Ice, I see you in the chat, man. I allowed you to speak in here if you wanted to say something, man. Ice is another one of the kind of low-key team members on here, and another guy I'm actually doing a podcast with here in the future. We're both big on Crown, obviously.
Okay.
But did that answer your question, man?
Yeah. So pretty much we're looking at a tax that's going to decrease around a couple of days.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it'll be over like a 7-day period. Yeah, and it'll be decreasing by 5%. Yeah.
Okay, got you.
So let me.
So I had a couple questions to pick with you guys.
Yeah, go for it.
So, all right, cool. I understand that. So that's going to be like around a 7-day period. What I did, I know you guys said that you were, trying to find ideas and stuff. But what are your thoughts on? Because I had proposed a solution to like kind of mitigate the volatility that we're seeing with these DAOs lately. So I know that you guys are trying to implement the tax, but what are your thoughts on like a lockup period for maybe around? And I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with me. I kind of got some backlash in the chat for this, but I speak my mind. So what are your thoughts on a lockup period for around a month or so, pretty much to stop this swing trading and to pretty much promote staking, a consistent tax. This is just an idea, consistent tax that can scale with like volume, losing accrued interest if you pull out before a lockup period, because obviously maybe someone wants to pull out to take advantage of another opportunity, and daily sell limits pretty much to force people to scale out of their positions. And if they want to pull out more in that day, they can go ahead and pay like a tax penalty or something that can go ahead and be used for the treasury or be burned. What are your thoughts on that?
So I know, just to address a couple, I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you want, like, look, you gotta think of yourself, right? And when we try to make changes, we try to think of us being in a certain project and having so many limitations, right? That's going to be a big turnoff for a lot of people.
I would, to kind of address some of it, kind of the points you're making would be addressed already in various products that we would have. So when you're looking at like a lockup period, that would be something that you'd see with the throne nodes, for instance. If the community still wants to go forward with nodes, that would be something you would see with the throne nodes. If you guys are familiar, nodes are essentially just a fork of a project called Core from a little bit way back in the day. I mean, not way back in the day, bro. It's been a fucking year. That's fucking wild to me. Crypto, man, it just feels way longer than it really is.
Yeah.
But essentially, nodes are basically just a rehash of Core. Essentially, you're locking it in, and the difference is with Core, when you locked it in with Core, it was gone. That was it. With this, with the throne nodes, we'd posted up different lockup times for it. So that would be something to where you're saying, let's have a specific lockup time. That would be kind of addressed with that. The accruing, in terms of they lose some of their accrued interest on it, that is something we haven't talked about. Maybe that is something we could look into doing. It would just have to make sense. Kind of what Oryx is saying, though. And then to the other thing too, the buy limit and sell limit, the sell limit, daily sell limit. I'm still very much in favor of that. People can people have been saying they'll just get around it from transferring to different wallets. The point is, if there is a daily sell limit, even if they are, transferring to other wallets to sell, it's basically forcing them to ladder out. I would prefer 50,000 across 4 or 5 different sells, over 500,000 all at once, personally speaking. We saw that what happened with the CM Kid thing, which, I'm not going to get into that too much, but we saw that we did OTC for that because we were really worried about a $700,000, $800,000 dump or $400,000 dump because he had only wanted to sold his initials and some profit. I know he said on Twitter that we couldn't afford to buy his whole amount. That's just a bullshit lie from him. He's a snakeskin salesman. He straight up lied on some shit. But that's on him. At this point, we're past all that. But you saw that the reason we were doing the OTC stuff was because we were worried about those massive dumps. So even if we did a daily sell limit of 50,000, I would prefer 50,000 in pieces across different sells instead of just one $600,000 dump. For some reason, whales, when they sell, just don't like ladder selling, and it's obnoxious. And usually they lose out on profit. But at that point, I don't know what goes through their heads. But it would essentially force them to sell in pieces. But kind of to reiterate what Oryx said, it is a fine line of trying to make a project attractive, because like I've said from the beginning, we're trying to build a narrative here. If our narrative is that we're sustainable growth, but that we have a ton of restrictions, that might not be that attractive to people that want to get into it. So maybe not all of it. Maybe we just pick and choose some stuff.
Yeah, definitely understandable. That's what I was saying. It's just ideas. I know, everyone's not going to agree with it. But in terms of me thinking, I was just thinking pretty much people come in here and they chase for either APY, or what they used to chase for is APY, or seeing a crazy price increase. So, if that was to happen steadily, why wouldn't you invest, or why wouldn't you throw your money into it? So, yeah, it definitely makes sense. So, I appreciate, the responses and everything. And we're going to be here for the long run.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a lot of experience with passive income type plays, guys. I was really big into a project called Feed that ran for like 6 months. I was really big into a project called Bunny Pancake or whatever, Bunny PCS or something like that, which ran really hard for months and months and then rugged me of $1 million. So that kind of sucked. But I do have a lot of experience in kind of these passive income type things. And they almost always have some type of just steady, consistent growth. It's not these crazy APYs that you're seeing. It's usually a bubble up that happens, and then you get the type of blow off the top type stuff that you're used to seeing. But so I have a lot of experience in passive income type plays. And look, even though like I got nuked on Bunny, I came back on passive income plays. I lost it on a passive income play and made it back on passive income plays. But most of the time, it's not these crazy APYs or APRs that you guys are seeing that we saw briefly. So in my opinion, let's build something like Feed. Let's build something like Bunny before they rugged us. Like, let's build something that is sustainable passive income that is really attractive to people and can grow. Because I like the idea of a protocol that's backed by money, even though Jade made fun of projects being backed. I mean, Jade's just a bunch of ruggers anyway. So like, why would you even care what they think about stuff? But I like the idea of a passive income play that has a huge treasury that we can utilize to even increase the type of gains that you're getting. But yeah, I appreciate the questions, man. I'm going to do one more question here and then probably close it down here. Let me see here. Can I ask about wrapping crown to avoid taxes? I'm not sure what you mean by that, buddy. Wrapping crown to avoid taxes. What about the context?
This is the thing which time has. Like, you can wrap your memo.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm not the tax. Like, I don't know much about this, so I don't know why people ask about it. But if this works for them, maybe we'll implement this in your future.
Yeah, GoldenBoy, they're saying I cut you off, and you were making a point at some point. Do you by any chance remember what it was?
I don't know, man. I'm just listening.
My bad. All right. I'll do a quick wrap up. Elaborate the changes from version 1 to version 2. Contest. The contest. So I'm assuming they're talking about the TikTok contest.
Yeah, about that we need to address both.
Yeah.
Even a video is not rewarded.
We're gonna probably put a pause on those stuff until we have the version 2 plan like thoroughly laid out. So let's say if we get we start working with Crown or Moontography, and we can officially announce that in like an announcement tweet, make a Medium article about it, and kind of the steps forward. At that point, we will address the contest with that as well. Because like I said, we're holding off. We paid 6 figures in marketing. We have a lot of like big YouTubers. I mean, I've said this, but these guys have like legit following. And we've put a pause on all of that stuff until version 2, because we want to have most of the volume on version 2 instead of version 1. So once we kind of have an idea of we can actually lay out what it really is, the plan is going to be, that's when we can kind of announce that stuff in terms of like the contests, at least. In terms of a specific date, we don't want to give a specific date at this point, especially because literally when we hang this up, I'm going to put a poll up in announcements to decide if we want to work with Moontography, if the community is okay pushing the date back a little bit. And then secondly, another vote to see if the community is still in favor of doing nodes.
I think I know what I was trying to address. I was trying to address that we should try to use more often like the snapshot voting for community. You know what I mean? Like yeah. Instead of using Discord and emojis, we could like do real voting for some stuff. Just shooting idea.
Yeah, turning this over to a DAO has been a part of the roadmap, and that is the the full evolution of Crown is going to be when it is in a full DAO at that point. And then it really is up to you guys on how you guys want to vote to use stuff in like the treasury. But right now it's a team of 13 people that are like kind of controlling stuff. So let me do like just a kind of brief wrap up for the people in here. So essentially the plans, the for sure set in stone plans, we're doing a version 2 token. We're moving over version 1 to a version 2 token. There's going to be some type of tax on it. Most likely, we're going to do a scaling tax that Solid was describing, that Jin and GoldenBoy and Oryx have all talked about. That is going to be like a scaling tax over a 7-day period. We're still likely going to have sells on or taxes on buys and sells. The things that we're going to do votes on are going to be whether we want to possibly push back a launch by maybe a couple days or a week to work with Moontography. And then secondly, if we're going to what was I just about to say? I got sidetracked there. Moontography, yeah, that one. Oh, and then if we want to do the nodes too, if we do end up wanting to do the nodes, that'll be the other vote for that too. And then when it is time for version 1 to swap over to version 2, everybody's essentially just going to unstake, and then depending on how we do the token swap, you might either end up having to do it through like the UI that Moontography makes for the token swap. Then another thing that's kind of like up in the air is essentially the token swap itself. Like if we're going to be doing a 1-to-1 ratio, 5-to-1 ratio, I'd seen in the chat that people were worried about what if they bought in at $200 to $400. The value of the tokens, guys, doesn't change. So the volume of it won't change. Or I'm sorry, not volume. So the value of it won't change. But yeah, so that is kind of just a wrap up of everything. Guys, do you have anything else you want to add?
This question to us?
I think that's pretty much everything, guys. Yeah, I appreciate it. We'll hopefully do another one of these here soon, the closer we get. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. And we will I'll do that vote and the announcements, and we'll go from there, guys. I appreciate all the good questions here, guys. This was fun. Sorry, GoldenBoy, for cutting you off, bro. That was my bad. I can kind of dominate conversation sometimes by just talking a lot.
That's good. That's good. All good.
As you can see, guys, I would be excellent at doing a fucking podcast with Ice, because him and I sat on a phone call the other day for an hour just talking about random crypto shit. So I don't have any problem talking. But yeah, so I'll put that vote up to the announcements, and then I appreciate y'all.
One thing, I have seen question in general chat from Ripping Bass. Don't you guys feel people will be questioning your words integrity since you originally said it will be 1-to-1 swap? It's no difference if you receive 1 token worth 100 or have 5 worth 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still, it's not confirmed. We stick to 1-to-1, but we will see where this goes.
Yeah, that's up in the air. But the 1-to-1 swap, if we do a 10-to-1 or a 5-to-1 swap, the amount of crown you would need to do a node, if we still go forward with nodes, would change too. So these type of things are fluid. That's kind of why I was in the wrap up saying the set in stone stuff is that we are going to a version 2 contract. There's going to be there's going to be taxes on that contract. Those are the set in stone things. The other parts, the nodes, the ratio of what we do the swap to, those are fluid right now. And as we get closer to it and have things nailed down, we'll announce it as we go. And likely we'll have like a medium article up here soon, kind of like going over shit. Also, at this point now, I feel like now that you've spoken in public, GoldenBoy, there's no excuse for you anymore to not have a Twitter account, because like everybody in the community, myself included, pretty much thinks you should be like the next Daniel. So yeah, at this point you've spoken, your voice has been recorded, people know what you sound like. Yeah, it's over, bro. You got to make a Twitter account.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great.
You gotta make a Twitter account, bro. I'm trying to see you get into beefs with other people, man. I need to have some backup on Twitter sometimes, bro. So yeah. Appreciate it.
Sorry to hop in just like that, but I've seen a couple dozen questions already on a DAO governance.
Yeah.
Yep, that is the plan. We're going to move over into DAO governance at some point. Once we get that'll.
I mean, I think they are trying to. It's not like we can do basic votes. It's not like we let community do strategic votes for now until we go full DAO, but we could actually do basic votes for community.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
I
also agree, but I would prefer to keep it till V2 and then let community speak more, like through their holdings, I guess.
Yeah, awesome, guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna hop off now. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys, and we'll try and do this again here soon in the future.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.